Ladies and Gentiles, it is I, Dick Thunderlips, here to Recaparoo, your Heroes of Fantasy Week 11 action. Without further ado, we're going to kick it off from the back to the front this week as we dig right into the hootin' and the hollerin' and see who's going to make these playoffs with only 1 week remaining, folks. Right off the bat, we've got the Professor picking up a big dub at the end of the year, putting on Tyree 128.6 to a buck 18.9er, folks. As we dig into the nitty and the gritty, you'll see that Derek Carr finally got it done for Oscarito with 21, 18 from Melvin Gordon, still serving it up. Mike Evans had a day with 15, 21 for Lockett, locking it up, and AJ Brown was 16. And you gotta love when you get 18 from the D, baby. The big D, like Dick likes it. This is where Oscar's the sweet spot of his team. Remember in the good old days, too bad they can't always get it done this saucy and this style, but they did it today as Oscar goes into the playoff push with momentum, getting ready for the bowl. Look at Nelson Aguilar going off on the bench over here with 20. Tyree Dean hates more than stat corrections, I guess. He also hates benching wide receivers when they go off. Jack. Only 2 from Darrell Henderson. You don't like to see that. John New with 12, 26 with Kelsey, baby. 10 with Emmanuel, a bunch of chipping ins and the big 18 from J.K. Dobbins. I mean, you like what you see, you don't like what you see. Tyree has been an up and down year, misses Daddy Adrian badly as he drops to 4-7 on the year, likely out of playoff contentions. But getting ready for the bowl, baby. Scooting right along, we've got Razor Crust, Matt Segovia, picking up a big ye old win against Steven Naramore, the real Flash Gordon, not so real today as he sees his playoff chances slip away with every L he drops, only scoring 85 pathetic points to Matthew J. Segovia's buck 26 as the Razor Crest team deployed their hot rook, Justin Herbert, and their even hotter temporary tight end fill-in, Mr. T. Sam Hill, going in for Drew Brees, who got hurt. This guy's not actually a tight end. He lost his eligibility, but for a hot minute, he dropped 24 for Segovia, helping him get the dub this week. Godwin doing good. Kenyon Drake looking like an RB again. Chase Claypool still paying dividends for Matt, but really the temporary juice from Taysom Hill, the difference maker in the matchup, folks. You take a look at the other side, Nara Moore is Nara no more. He had some dudes on by. That's fine. 23 from Golf. Third frame from Jake Holmes. You got to hope for more. But just some pathetic days. Hayden Hurst with a goose egg, folks. And point two from Melvin Ingram as J.K. Dobbins took over. I don't know what's going on here. Packers with a terrible day. And, that's never, you don't want to see this ever, folks. Naramore just on the slide. He'll get some juice back when his dudes come back next week. But get ready for the bowl, Naramore. I think your playoff hopes are dashed. Segovia is looking good, though, going into bowl season. Scrolling right along, we have Alfredo, the Fresh Prince of Hell baby, picking up a dub with a buck 39. A big old day against L's Avengers 109. L slipped and slid his way to a 4-7 record here, falling to Freddie because Mahomie dropping 21. You don't love him. L's had C Mac on the bench in the IR all year, except he came out just to crush Danny Boy's hopes and dreams that 1 week. Otherwise, L not much to do with the fill-ins. Breda with only 0.4, 9.9 for J.D. McKissick. Curtis Samuel, a big day. Tim Patrick, a big day. And the Browns D, Mia Omayo, 22. But Al just, I don't know what he's doing here, folks. Not much to do. He's got lots of dudes on by. Didn't do much moving around otherwise and did what he could. I'm honestly surprised he went over 100 here with all those dudes on by. But hey, what are you going to do? Tough week to drop to Freddie as Tannehill goes off for 21. You got some juice from Thielen. Juju with only 5, disappointing day, but hey, it doesn't matter when Hilaire is back with 20 and the Saints D is going to spot you a 17, folks. Meanwhile, again, can't win with the battle of do I play the Steelers receivers as Deontay Johnson drops 23 and Freddie again chooses the wrong Steelers receiver, folks. Freddie, you should have straight them all. You might be undefeated if you did. Moving right along, folks, as Adrian picks up another huge dub. He's not scoring, he's not blowing the barn doors off people, but he's getting it done. A buck 19, putting down your rating defending champion Jay Saxon. Adrian said, that win was never yours. That belt was never yours, baby. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, the win's a win. He got it done by more than a mile, folks, as Jay Sizzle continues to be a big old piece of shit, picking up another big L here and letting Adrian walk into the playoffs, as it were. Let's see how Jay Sex's wheels came off because he doesn't trust Thomas Reginald Brady with only 12, Matty Ice, even worse with only 5, folks. Kareem Hunt up and down all year, only 9 here today, 15 for Jonathan Taylor. Tomas, 19 from the new Tomas. Hey, Jay Sex, you gonna complain? You finally got prediction from Michael Thomas, and the rest of your team was like, fine, go do it, and didn't do nothing. Gronk back down to earth, and nothing to do on the bench. Sorry, Charlie, Jay Sizzle is the poop dizzle, dropping the L to Adrian, who, Tyree's daddy, looking good. Not much to do, though, with the top, but you gotta love the meat. With 21 from DJ Moore, the Sizzle with 21 from Darren Walker, Scary Cherry chipping in 13 with the Washington D, doing the same. And, Dallas Go Dirt looking like a titan of gold with 18. This dude's got some riches on the bench, not looking too shabby. Can Adrian, I talked a lot of poop about this guy. Can he become the 2-time Heroes of Fantasy champion and snatch that belt back from Jay Sizzle, bringing home where it belongs, and this time for himself, because Tyree off on his own. Huh. Meanwhile, Zachary, there goes the dub streak, dropping it like it's hot to Crystal, a buck 12 to 68. Zach, what are you doing? It's like you're trying to score low. You're not gonna get a better draft pick next year if you keep sucking this bad. I just want you to know. Tua with only 7, 2 from Jones. Rex Burkhead back down to earth. It's literally all the same dudes, except this week they just sucked. At least Zeke was back to scoring 19. I don't even know who Mims is. He's got 10. 9 for the Chargers D. This is where Ayuk is on a bye. Jimmy Graham on a bye. I mean, Zach's team isn't exactly the show to go see, but tough week for the man, as just the filler and the killer didn't do much besides Zeke. And on the other side, Crystal limping right along into the playoffs. Doesn't look like the high scoring phenom she once was, but on paper, this roster's still strong and solid. But hey, the wheels can come off at any moment. Russell Wilson with 20, 25 for Devin Cook. Really the meat and the bones of her team, carrying her right along, as some of the filler doesn't quite do it this week. Kirk with not much ado. Miles Sanders, Hooper, 14 from Ridley, not terrible. And 4 from the Bucks D, nothing to hoot about. Had some performances on the bench though. Hey man, what are you gonna do? Crystal, 112, gets it done. Could have scored 80 in one. Can I play these guys? I mean, can Danny Boy play these guys? Honestly, this is what's hard. People getting shit on out here, and then your second place team needs a dub to make the playoffs, stay in the picture. That's a softball here, folks. Zach lays up a turd. Crystal knocks it out of the park with just enough. Moving along. And talk about tough luck. This is what you hate to see. Ricky G posts up a buck 58, lays down poor Aldo, who scored 130. Aldo did what he could with a hot week, faced one of the few teams that could actually beat him this week. As Ricardo shits on Aldo's chest, 158 to 130. Ricardo trying to stay in that playoff picture. But will he? We'll take a look. Aaron Rodgers, the acquisition, the big trade with 21, and Cooper Kupp with 25. Ricardo looking like he got the better end of that deal, Jack. We'll see the dividends on the other side. But let me tell you, spoiler, Ricardo came out ahead. James Robinson still hanging in there, trying to be relevant with 11. 23 from Devontae Adams. The hookup is real. Tyreek Hill with 27. And that newly acquired Koopa Cup with 25. And 15 from Phil and Michael Pittman in a big day with dudes on buys. You gotta like that, Jack. Meanwhile, all those Grunk Pirates can finally get a big juice day from Deshaun Watson they've been needing all year, and a solid day from Derek Henry. You got 11 from Chubb, 17 from Williams, 17 from Justin Jefferson, 18 for Devontae Parker. The goose egg you don't like to see from Hollywood Brown, that might have been all the difference. If you throw CeeDee Lamb in there, you've got yourself a game again. But even that still wouldn't get Aldo over the hump as Ricky G's just going off. But hey, all those teams looking good. Maybe he can make a bull run. We shall see. And in the last matchup of the week, folks, you had first place C Jizzle still exuding his dominance with a $1.27 dub he didn't even need. Again, sorry about my damn cough. Danny Boy's team drops to 6-5 in a pathetic display, third loss in a row, barely broke a hundy, and let's see why. Cam Newton doing his part with 19, and Alvin Kamara, meanwhile, only 10. This man did not like Drew Brees going away. Taysom Hill ran in 2 touchdowns. Hot garbage. Alvin Kamara looking like he's not going to be the juice maker, money maker that he was unless Breezy Boy comes back. Danny Boy didn't like that one bit, and frankly, if Kamara would have scored his 30 customary points, we might have ourselves a ball game here, folks. Not a great week for Kamara to become mortal. Gibson did his part with 17. Corey Davis trying to make up for lost time with 16. Only 5 for Julio Jones, and this is where we get really sad. Danny Boy in the big trade got Julio Jones swapping out QBs, making moves. Cooper Kupp went off this week, folks. This is a disaster in a basket, and probably missing the playoffs because he did this trade. But hey, Eric Ebron scoring 13. Way more than 10. I mean, finally a tight end is scoring, but too bad the rest of the team is not. And Danny Boy's still sad that he's missing David Johnson, Duke Johnson, just not getting it done. But you gotta love those D's and those Johnsons, baby, like Dick does. But still, they're just not getting it done. It's sad. It's sad because Dick loves a good D and a good Johnson, and they're neither are happening here, folks. The Patriots getting 0. Oh, it's astounding. And Danny Boy just can't buy a bucket at this juncture. On top of Joe Burrow shredding his knee, because that's what happens when you get traded. Meanwhile, I see a 30 on the friggin' bench on the other side here, because that's how CJ rolls. He's got so many fucking dudes that he's got Robert Woods scoring 30 on his bench. Here's what I think of you. CJ, I can't even do it. There it is. Whatever, man. Screw you, CJ. Getting 20 from Keith Murray. DeAndre Hopkins was a mortal week with only 10. It doesn't even matter that your running backs are shit right now because you have Mark Andrews flying high with 20. Keenan Allen with a ridiculous 34 because he's your fucking boyfriend. And 17 from Tyler Boyd. And who's Jacoby Myers? Back to earth with only 6. But hey, man, whatever. You left points on the board and still got the dub. Could have scored a $1.50. But hey, it doesn't matter when you don't need the win. Whatever, man. Let's take a look at the standings. Oh, Rue. What really matters here with only 1 week of action left in the league. Heroes of Fantasy. 1 week for the top 4 to cut into the playoffs and the rest to go to the bowl. And currently we have it's a tightish race. You have Steven Naramore right now in 4th place. I don't know if this guy's even paying attention. He's asleep at the wheel, been throwing up some L's just like Danny Boy. But right behind him is Alfredo's Fresh Prince of Hilaire, Ricky G's Purple Rain, and sorry about my damn cough. Some of these low-scoring weeks have cost these teams because those tiebreakers are still points for. Everyone's got to be rooting for Naramore to pick up the L in its final week, and we have a huge race for the final playoff position. Naramore has his fate in his hands. If he picks up the win, he's in. These other teams gotta win. They gotta win. They gotta score as much as possible. This is it. Meanwhile, locked into playoff position, C. Jizzle, Crystal, Adrian. No Tyree. That's right. Eliminated from the playoffs, the Professor, Al's Avengers, the Jay Sizzle, your former champ, won't be retaining the title. Tyree, he gone. Matt Segovia, Aldo, RIP, and Zach, DOA from the start. Finally getting those dubs. But hey, you've got the bowl smorgasbord. You got Dick's Thunderdome coming. You're all going to be playing 4 weeks against each other. The teams that didn't make the top 4 cut. And the loser of that, Jack, is going to pay to ship that belt. Highest scoring team is still C. Jizzle with Purple Rain behind. Ricardo's just dropping bombs. So many points scored. I don't know if it's insurmountable or not. But let's face it, when push comes to shove, you've got to hope if Ricky G wins and Danny Boy wins and Freddie wins, this points for gap is going to matter. Because Danny Boy's got 50, almost 60 points more than Freddie. And hey, man, you got about $110 between Ricky G and Danny Boy. Woo. So it's going to be a tough one, boy. If Ricky G wins this week and Naramore falls, Ricky G just might be sliding in, folks. Naramore's, I don't even know where he is. Oh, he's way down here, folks. Anywho, Professor got a good write-up. Check out the Discord on who's going to make it or break it. And then let's take a quick looky-loo at the matchups upcoming for your final week of Fantasy Action, Week 12. Of course, guess who Danny Boy gets to face? Fucking Crystal, one of the highest scoring teams in the league. It's not going to be an easy it's an uphill battle, folks. Danny Boy's going to beat one of the best teams out there to have a scrape of a chance to make the playoffs, and that's just how it is. That's how they roll. And right now, of course, he's projected to lose. All the Professor will take on Matt Segovia in a battle of pride in the hood and cash money, probably, frankly. And honestly, here, a big one as well. Adrian and CJ already guaranteed playoff spots. They will clash in what might be a playoff preview, honestly. And you want to talk about real juice on the line here. This is sad. This is the worst. Ricky G is playing Steven Naramore. So I guess that basically means that Ricky G needs to win and score like 50 and win. And then Danny Boy needs to score like 200 and win, and he's got a shot. Yeah, sad days ahead, folks, for this one. It looks like it's a very, very narrow playoff race thanks to these two playing each other in the final week. Fuck all of our lives and anyone who's screwed our hopeful playoff contenders down the stretch. I know who all of you are. Meanwhile, Freddie will take on Tyree. Freddie, of course, needs that dub and needs to score 1,000,000 points. Aldo takes on Al's Avengers, and the battle of ineptitude, the real toilet bowl, commences almost like everyone knew. And it's like they switched our matchups for the final week just to fuck with all of us. The reigning defending champion Jay Sax will face Zachary in a battle of ineptitude as the bottom two teams on the totem pole clash for final bragging rights going into the bowl season. Now, that's some shit in the basket, but hey, what are you going to do, folks? Stay tuned for the biggest matchup that matters, Ricky G versus Naramore. And for now, dicks out, baby.